Hello, and welcome back. I, as always, am your bardic storyteller, John O'Connor, and today I wanted to do something a little different. This is going to be a video response to Basics of the game Late Night Ramble 18. Now, if you're unfamiliar with the series, Basics of the game Late Night Rambles is a video series done by Jeremiah McCoy. And in his 18th installment, he talked about bringing kids into D&D. Most things talked about I fairly agreed with, but I wanted to offer my own personal slant on the subject. So, with that in mind, this video is going to be broken up into two parts. Phase 1, bringing the kid in. Phase 2, what you do once they're at the table. So, let's talk about Phase 1. In my family, if you wanted to make something look cool or interesting, the way you did that is you didn't allow children to do it. The best example of this would be playing canasta. Now, every member of my family of a certain age knows how to play canasta. And the reason for this is because it is the game of the adults. Whenever there was 4 adults, you could be sure they were playing canasta at parties, at events, whatever we were at. And as a kid, it was always interesting to kind of get to see them do it. And, just watch them in the background. And eventually they get tired of you and they kind of send you away. So, applying that same format to D&D, just slightly changed, obviously. What I would have you do, if your child wants to play D&D, is, first of all, don't let them. Let them look at it from the outside in. And if they keep coming back asking questions, interrupting your game because they're curious, I'm not talking about just over one night, I'm talking about over a year or maybe 6 months. If they keep coming back and they're interested and they keep wanting to learn, then you slowly bring them in. And the way that I would bring them in slowly is, after a while, I would give them one of your dice. And you tell the table, this roll counts for whatever. And make sure it's a save or an attack roll. Although skills can be important, most variants of rules for things I play, one, when it comes to a save or an attack roll, means that you failed. Skills are just so you add up the sum. So, this is my favorite D20. And I would tell the child in this particular scenario, it means a lot to me. Don't let anything happen to it. If you do, I will go batshit crazy. And then you put it in their hand, and you tell them, roll the dice. Now, this particular time I got a 17, so most likely be a success for whatever I'm doing. And I wouldn't tell them what 17 means. I would show them the die. Okay, that's the die. And I'd show them the base number of whatever's on my character sheet and have them add it up. And once they add it up, I would have them tell the group. And as my night went on, and they linger a little bit, I let them do it once, twice, 3 times more. And if they show interest in that, then you let them do it a couple more times. Each night you let them do it. And again, it's a slow progression. So eventually, they might get interested, and they might want to do more. Now, this is the one of the big variants, places I vary from Jeremiah, is he talked about, giving the kids their own books and dice. Where I'm not opposed to that, but he wasn't too clear on how you should do that. Now, again, this is about seeing if your kid's interested. So, as far as the dice, they're cheap. You can give them to them whenever. But, if you want to kind of stretch it out, you kind of want to do something about it, go through your dice. And the ones that you don't give 2 rat shits about, you can pawn off on your kid. Tell them they're special, tell them that you've used them for X amount of time, and let them play with them. That is to say, dice you don't care about, not dice that you always roll shit with. If you know the dice are prone to rolling low, don't be a dick. Be a dick. Let the kids learn the hard way. I don't care. They're not my kids. But with the books, this is where you truly find out if the kids want to play. I don't give the kids books just to give them something. I'm not a big believer in that, Don't. It's not to say, you shouldn't give your kids random shit occasionally. They're kids, give them stuff. But things are going to cost you between anywhere from $20 to $50, depending on what system, what genre you're playing. Make them wait till a birthday, or make them wait till Christmas. And if that makes their wish list, maybe they're a little serious about it. And that's when you give them stuff and see, okay, well, they are interested in it. So that's all phase 1. Getting your kid interested. Phase 2, once the little bastard's sitting at your table, what do you do then? Now you've piqued your kid's interest, now you've got to do something about it. Well, the next question is, are you playing one child, a bunch of adults, or, a bunch of kids? Either scenario, let's use the bunch of kids scenario, a lot easier for this video. You want to make sure that you entice all 5 of their senses. You want to make sure that you immerse them into the story you want to tell. And the best way to do that is props. I have a medley of props on the side, and I'll put a couple in the video. But the idea is that you just want to use some cheap props, some nicer props. And the best place to find props I've found is go to a thrift store. Your Salvation Army, your Goodwill, or, anywhere that they repurpose things. So it's not stuff you give a shit about. Some of my props I found at Goodwill, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool, I'll use it. And you just take them, you buy them, you have 1 or 2 uses of them, and then you can get rid of them. It's not something you want to spend a lot of money on. But this is one of mine. This is a wine decanter. And Carly, if you're watching this video, I expect a like because I'm using your Christmas gift to me once again in the video. Now what do you do with this? Well, you set up a dinner scene. You set up a nice meal. You bought some cheap wine glasses at your local thrift store, and you put a colored beverage, grape flavored or something, and you slowly pour it into each glass, and you describe the scene to them. Now, I'm not big into LARPing. I think it's silly, to be honest. But if you do it, I don't judge. It's just not my cup of tea. Just like miniatures aren't my cup of tea. But when dealing with kids, a little bit of LARPing goes a long ways. So you take the prop and you move it. You let them smell, pretend they're smelling the wine. You let them sip it. You should give them some instructions. You should tell them that it's a fine vintage, that they don't make them like they used to. Something to make the crappy cranapple or Welch's, whatever, taste better. Make them think that it's something interesting. So that's one way to go about things. Another way, I'm going with the props here. You take something old and beat up. This is a recipe box. It's damaged to all hell. I don't know why. That's how I got it. I like it. It's nifty. It's not opening. There we go, now it's opening. It's a recipe box. It has a bunch of recipes in it. I like recipes. I like cooking. But you take something like this, and you tell them that they have to meet some Dwarven contact outside the forest. And when they're going to go meet the Dwarven contact, some a-hole blackguard there slashes down, taking down your Dwarven contact. And with his last dying breaths, and I mean, you again, get in their face, do the gasping, do the... And if you have one of the characters actually come up and say, well, I'll be the one who's going to get right in his face, grab that little bastard by the shirt. Bring him into your face. Do the heavy breathing. Do the last moments. And while you have that little fucker right there in your face and you're talking to him and you're telling him, you take the box, whatever adventuring item you decide to put in there, take this, and you hand it to them. And they feel like they were part of the scene. They feel like they were that character for 5 seconds. And they're part of it. They get to hold the box. They get to feel the weight. They get to open it and see what was the item inside. And by doing it this way, you've kept their attention, you've kept them interested, and you know, they feel like they're part of that world for a second. So I mean, that's something you're not going to get in a video game. A video game, you get hit, you feel the rumble of the controller, okay. You know, you get the bright lights from your television screen, that's cool, that's great. I like video games, but it doesn't beat D&D, it doesn't beat role-playing. And the one thing that you can get in role-playing that you can't get anywhere else, smell. Tabletop games, you got props. This is a cigar box. It's made out of cedar. You open it up. Just those few hand gestures, or whatever the hell you call that. I took in a huge breath of cedar. You can smell it. The whole area around me smells like it. So you take a strong smelling wood like that, and you know it also kind of has the remnants of tobacco. You take something like that and you let the kids smell it. You put some kind of item in there. You put a note. You put something in there. They're gonna walk away with that. They're gonna walk away with, wow. And again, if it's just cheap props you're buying at, you know, a Dollar Tree or, you know, a thrift store or something, let the little bastards have it. You know, take it home. That way, you know, they go home, they tell their friends what they've been doing. And I was like, well, this is the souvenir I got, actually. You know, it's really cool. It's cooler than a character sheet. It's cooler than just looking at math on paper. When they can walk home with a little prop. So, that's my advice on how to bring kids into role-playing. If you have your own ideas, please feel free, make a video response. But I would highly encourage that you watch Jeremiah McCoy's video first. Also, if you get the time, please check out his channel. He's doing a lot of cool, interesting rambles over there. And that's what they're all called, for the most part. I think he did something before the rambles. But that's the title of the videos, Late Night Rambles. They're enjoyable, they're fun. And as always, if you're enjoying the content that I'm providing, please like, share, and subscribe. Have a great night, y'all.